Hello there, my name's Tracy Elsom and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Canada, and welcome to my Paper Craft with Me YouTube channel. Today, as part of my boxes and bags series, I want to show you how to make a bag using this really pretty paper. This is from the Let It Snow DSP pack. It's 12 by 12 sheets, and if you can see, some of the sheets have this sort of glittery, embossed kind of feel, and the other side are more plain. So this is what I want to do, and in fact I want to make my bag with this as the outside. But first of all, let's work out how big we need our bag to be, how to cut the paper to make the bag for the size that I want. So I've decided my bag needs to be 4 inches across by 1.5 inches deep by 7 inches tall. So in order to do that, I'm just going to draw this out, and I often do this because it helps me visualize exactly where to put my cutting and scoring. So we'll start with the back of the bag. So the back, as I said, it's going to be 4 inches and it's going to be 7 inches high. Then I need to put a side for my bag, and let's make that 1 3/4. Then I need to put the front of my bag, and that's going to be the same width as the back, so that's 4. Then I need another side, so that's side, front, side, and that's going to be the same as the other side. Obviously the two sides are the same width. And then I need a tab. Now, as I said, this isn't to scale, but that doesn't matter. It's just to visualize how I'm going to put the bag together. So I have a back, 2 sides, a front, and a tab, which is going to be used to hold it all together. Now I need to put something for the bottom of my bag, and that's going to be the same size as the side. So that's going to be 1 3/4 inches. Plus I've already decided that's going to be 7 inches from the base of the bag to the top of the bag. But I want to reinforce this bag. I'm going to put some handles on it. I want to reinforce it. So I'm going to add a piece that will be folded over the top. And I think for that it's going to be 1.5 inches. So all I need to do is add up these numbers, which gives me 10.25 inches, and add up these numbers, which actually gives me 12. So this is the size of the piece that I need to cut, 12 by 10.25, and my scoring is going to be 1 3/4 and 8 3/4, and then here 4 inches, 5 3/4, 9 3/4, 11.5, and that's purely based on those numbers I've put in there. But you don't have to use those numbers. Using this layout, you can put whatever numbers you like, and that will help you to work out what size piece of paper you need to cut. So let's bring in the trimmer and my paper. So to start with, we know it's 12 inches and my bag is going to be that way, so this is going to be the bottom. But first of all I need to just trim it down a little bit so that it's 10.25 inches, which is what we worked out. So there's my 10.25 inches by 12. So let's start by putting in this first score line along the bottom, and that's 1/2 inch. No, it's not. Here we go. Let's do it the right way around. Okay, so my score line along that piece there is going to be 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 is there. Make sure it's lined up. Move the cutting blade out of the way. That's always useful. So that's the bottom score line at 1 3/4, and the top score line is at 1.5. So we'll do that at 1.5. Okay, so that's the top and the bottom. Now I need to do my vertical lines there. So we said the first one is at 4 inches. Then 5 3/4 inches. And the next one is 9 3/4 inches. And the final one, if we add those 4 numbers together, that final one is at 11.5. So, oops. So that's all we need there. So I have my paper. Now I just need to grab my paper snips and do a little bit of cutting. So let's fold first of all along that bottom line. We'll fold that in, make it nice and easy to see where we're working to. And then this top one, I'm going to fold it over like that. Now when you're making a bag with the fold over top like this, it's important to pay attention to the direction of your pattern. Obviously, if I was using that side as the outside of my bag, it wouldn't really matter, except for if you were then folding the top over, you can see there my snowmen would be upside down. So just bear that in mind when you're cutting and scoring, so that you know which way round is actually going to be the top when it's folded over, so you don't get it looking a bit odd. But that's basically how we're going to start. Then with my paper snips, I'm going to cut up this first scored line there, cut a little notch out. That's just for that tab, and I'm only going up as far as that horizontal line. The next one I'm going to cut straight up, and I'm going to cut just a little notch out of that piece. It will just make life a little bit easier when I come to put the bag together. Then to the centre piece there, again I'm cutting straight up to the scored line, the horizontal scored line, and then I'm going to cut a little piece out of that square. You see, so I've cut a little piece out of that one, and I've cut a little piece out of that one, and these ones are the same. And then up here, I'm going to trim that. I'm just going to take a notch out of that. I'm not convinced I want to cut this tab off just yet. We will wait and see. So to put it together, before I put it together, I want to punch some holes for my handles. So we'll help ourselves by folding along those vertical creases. This is going to make it easiest for us to see where our punches have to go. There's my little tab. Okay, so this is our tab on there, and I'm going to, before I attach anything, I'm going to bring in my trio punch, detailed trio punch, and I've got this little piece of grid paper there, and it helps me to see where I'm placing my paper. So at about 3/4 of an inch in, and I'm going to punch. Then this is 1 to 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to line up this crease on that line, and I'm going to feed it in very carefully and punch. Again with this one, I'm going to feed this crease against the 3/4 inch line there, punch, and then this crease against the 3/4 inch line there, and punch. So I've got 2 little punched holes on the front and 2 punched holes on the back. So now we've just got to put it together. So with my tear and tape, I'm going to first of all put tear and tape down this 1/4 inch, this 1/2 inch flap there. Put it up against the crease like that. Press it down well, that makes it easier to take it off. So we'll take that piece off, take the backing off, there we go, and then I'm going to bring this one over, and it should just line up just like that. Now this is where this extra tab came in, and I've decided I want to just tuck it in under there, and I'm going to use a little bit of tear and tape to hold that into place, and that just means we won't have a gape at the top. So there we go, so I've got a little piece of tear and tape on there like that, and that just holds that in place. So now I have essentially my bag. I don't want to, if you wanted to make this up, or make a batch of these up and keep them for putting together later, you could then stop at this point. Everything's punched, everything's scored, everything's cut, and you could just store them flat. But now to put it together, we just turn it over, fold the sides in like that, and where is my join? It's difficult to see. There is my join. So that's going to be the back of my bag. So the back of my bag is here, so I'm going to fold the back in, and then I'm just going to use tear and tape here. Tear that off, take that backing off, and now keeping that nice and square, let me just bring that over like that. So that's nice and square now, and you can use your bone folder to press it aside to hold it in place. Now all I need to do now is to bring in my curly ribbon. This is great stuff, really pretty, and I am going to thread it through the hole, and I think I actually want, let's take about 16 inches like that, and we'll measure it again, about 16 inches, should be plenty. So I've threaded it through the hole. I'm going to thread the other one through the hole, and then I'm going to tie the 2 pieces together, the 2 ends together. Now the reason for doing this is that it will stop a single knot from being pulled through the hole. If I can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to do this at a distance so I don't get my head in the shot. Okay, let's try this again. So there we are. So tie that in a knot. Now that trim those off, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So we'll take the ribbon through, the curly ribbon goes through from the outside to the inside. Tie them together. A nice firm knot. Trim off the excess. that. And now you can see these handles. And they won't pull through. I could have just tied a big fat knot there on one end and tied another big fat knot, but sometimes they will pull through. But by doing this, you know that the handle itself isn't going to pull through. Even if that knot moves and comes through to the other side, it's not going to come off. So there we go. There's my bag. Very basic and really simple to do. Really easy to make one any size you want. So, you know, just use the grid, use the diagram and put your own numbers in to work it out. I will put this diagram, photographs of the finished project, and this video all on my blog today. You'll find a link in the description below, and as I say, I'll put this diagram minus the numbers so that you can create your own size. And if you join me again later in the week, I will show you how to use this curly ribbon to make a tassel tag to go on this bag so everything coordinates. So I hope that's been useful. I do hope you give this project a try, and do look at my other videos for other ideas for boxes and bags for Christmas and for other occasions. Everything you see that I've used today you can buy via my online store, and there will be links in the description below, or you can access my Stampin' Up! Online store via my blog, via my website, and you'll find that at www.papercraftwithme.com. So thank you again for watching, and I do hope you'll join me again soon. Bye!